Om Namo Narayani. Good morning, good evening, everyone, wherever we are joining in from. And today we have the 24th week of Sri Lalitha's class, and we will be looking at her names from 159 to 165. Let us begin with our prayers. Om Jnana-rūpāya vidmahi Shakti amsaya dhimahi Tanno Shakti amma prachodayat. Om Jnana-rūpāya vidmahi Shakti amsaya dhimahi Tanno Shakti amma prachodayat. Om Jnana-rūpāya vidmahi Shakti amaya dhimahi Tanno Shakti amma prachodayat. Om Sarvamangala-mangalye Shive Sarvartha-sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Sarvamangala-mangalye Shive Sarvartha-sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Sarvamangala-mangalye Shive Sarvartha-sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhyanam Sindhuraruna Vigraham Trinayanam Manikya-maulisphurattaranayaka Shekharam Smita-mukhi Mapina Vakshoruham Panibhyam-alipurna-ratna-chashakam Raktotpalam Bibhratim Saumyam Ratna-ghatastha-ratna-charanam Dhyayet Parambikam Dhyayet Padmasanastham Vikasita Vadanam Padmayatakshim Hemabham Pitavastram Karakalithalasad Hema Padmam Varangim सर्वालङ्कारयुक्तां सततमभयतां भक्तं रां भवानीं श्रीविद्यां शान्तमूर्तिं सकलसुरनुतां सर्वसम्पत्प्रदात्रीं सकुङ्कुमविलेपनामलिकचुम्बिकस्तूरिकां समन्दहसितेक्षणां सचरचापपाशाङ्कुशाम् अशेषजनमोहिनीमरुणमाल्यभूषोज्ज्वलां जपाकुसुमभासुरां जपविधौ स्मरेदम्बिकाम् अरुणां करुणातरङ्गिताक्षीं धृतपाशाङ्कुशपुष्पबाणचापाम् अणिमादिभिरावृतां मयूखैरहमित्येव विभावये महेशीम्। ॐ नमो नारायणे। Sri Lalitha's 159th name. Om Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Om Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who destroys all pride. Mada is pride. Mada can again, we will see ego. It is the I can do this, the pride. And we saw she is not the mother, but she can also destroy the mother in all her devotees. And this pride, there is this nuances, the pride is there, the ego is there. Ego is an entity, we will see later. And when the ego takes the I am doing it, that beyond the identity, taking on something more, the pride comes in. And is pride bad? Isn't it natural that we take pride in things we do? We are proud of achievements, we are proud of our family, children, accomplishments, all that. And how does she have to, why does she have to destroy that? As you get closer and closer to the godliness, when that more purity comes in, then the wisdom as it matures understands this is not even my accomplishments. This is not even my doing it. It has been given, the universe has gifted me this opportunity. It has given this to me, and it receives it with that joy and absorbing it, not like standing out from it. So this pride, when taken to the extreme, which is what normally we mean as pride, is someone who's too proud, is like snobbish or too caught up in their own accomplishments, then that is like a veil, that's like a blockage to connect with the divine, where everything is peace, everything is goodness, everything is at its best and its most precious state. And when this pride comes in and we connect, then we don't connect with the divine. We lose out more in that. So with her love and her compassion, she is able to mada nāśinyai is destroy. She destroys it so we can get even closer to the divine in that process. Another usage for this mada in when an elephant goes berserk, it's called an elephant that has got madam. So this pride can derange the mind. When the pride goes to that extreme, when it's so caught up in that pride, it can derange the mind. So that is the extreme, and she can destroy that extreme. She can destroy the sattva, rajas, tamas, and even in that different variation colors, she can clear all these to bring that oneness, that she is, that totality, she is, that Lalita Narayani is. She has come to give, and who is she? Everything, and this whole world's creation is a lila, and everything to resonate with that, then everything is a joyous happening. Her 160th name, Śreem niścintāyai namah swaha. Śreem niścintāyai niścintāyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Śreem niścintāyai niścintāyai namah swaha. Namah swaha. Śreem niścintāyai namah swaha. Śreem niścintāyai namah swaha. Śreem niścintāyai namah swaha. Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who's free from literally all thoughts. Chinta means without any thoughts, free of thoughts. And here it's interpreted also as thoughts bringing on worries and anxieties. The thoughts keep churning. And if you're without thoughts, the mind is still. But when thoughts come in, they don't just come, they bring with them a whole train of thoughts. They keep churning, which leads on to worries and anxieties. And she is beyond all thoughts. She's not bound by any thoughts. This word, chinta, we came across earlier in one of her names. Śreem Chintamani Grihe Namah Swaha, number 57, her 57th name. And this is where she resides. And the house, the Griha, the house is Chintamani. It is made of this rare, precious stone, which is like the philosopher's stone, that wish-fulfilling stone, which is not gotten easily, or it's just people talk about it, and her whole house is made of this Chintamani, this gem that is manifests every thought. Remember, we talk about it as he read to her. She lives in a house. When you're here, there, everything you think of manifests immediately. And she herself is niścintāyai. She is free from all thoughts. And what is that state? And those who are in the spiritual practices, we do many sadhanas, practices. Meditation is what? To let go of these thoughts that cling to you so that mind can become still. And Amma talks about the meditation, puja, chanting. All these are ways to still the mind. And she is in that state of niścinta, without any thought, in that stillness, she is there. And that is her very state. And it's such a blessed state. Amma talks about when we remain in silence, we can go deeper and deeper within. Being in silence is one way we find the truth about ourselves. Silence is the way to know the divine and to hear what the divine is saying to you. The divine speaks to you all throughout the day. And when we are in that state of stillness, we can connect with that totality, and what is needed flows to us. But Amma says, we all have so many questions. Why this? Why that? What is this? And what is the we do? And we are all so many, we have so many questions. And what is the best? Amma says, silence. This will help you hear the divine. And from that stillness, when you connect with the universe, you can download here what is needed for you, the answers to all your questions, unfold or download, whichever way you want to look at it. It is here, it manifests here. If you're connected there, it manifests there to answer. And that stillness comes when this state of niścinta. In Tamil also, chintanai is thought, chinta in Sanskrit is thought. When you're without thought, that stillness, in that oneness, everything gets answered. You connect with that divine and you can hear the divine. The divine, it is listening to what is needed for you in this moment right now. And that stillness is so precious, and she is that very state. Her 161st name, Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. So nir-ahaṅkārā. So when we say together, it is nir-ahaṅkārā, even though it is a negation of ahaṅkārā, nir-ahaṅkārā. Śreem, Śreem, nir-ahaṅkārāyai, nir-ahaṅkārāyai, namah swaha, namah swaha. Śreem, Śreem, nir-ahaṅkārāyai, nir-ahaṅkārāyai, namah swaha, namah swaha. Śreem nir-ahaṅkārāyai, namah swaha. Śreem nir-ahaṅkārāyai, namah swaha. Śreem Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is devoid of egoism. And ahaṅkārā is ego. Nir-mōhāyai is negation of the ego. She is egoless. And when creation happened, when we can identify as a human form, which we can relate to. So we go to this, the Panchabhutas, the physical body, then the thoughts, our emotions, our mind, and then there is all these chinta, the memories and the thoughts that are stored there, the chitta, and the ahaṅkārā, that ego is needed. It is an entity in creation. And that entity of that ego is needed for each creation. For that is like a preservation, like you need the skin to enclose you, to call you that one entity. That ego is an essential aspect of the creation that happens. But she is beyond that. And when she is the creator, she rules all the egos, the thoughts, the emotions, everything is under her command, every aspect of the mind. And there are so many aspects, and we are seeing so many aspects through the names. And they're all there, they are part of the creation. And let it be there, and to rise beyond that is when the journey of going back fructifies. And she is, when we talk about anything, it is we referring to I, aham. And even when we say there is this great sentence, aham brahmasmi, I am that totality, I am the divine, because the soul in us is that soul which is in everyone. So to realize state, to come closer to that state, even then there is the identification, aham, I am that. And yet to let go of that, she is beyond that, is nir-mōhāyai. She is beyond even that identification. Because she can be anything, she can be nothing. It is all in that realm of creation. And beyond that. Even in a dhyana slogam, in the last line, we say, aham ityeva vibhavaye maheshim. So I am to you, I am doing this to you, I am this, I am the relationships, I am the mother, I am the father, I am the son, the daughter, I am the friend, I am the student, I am the teacher. All this is an identification, and these identifications are aham, I am this, I am that. And these are our ways of representing us, but the soul is beyond all this. These are identifications, but identifications don't make that. These are aspects to it, but it is not that totality. It is beyond that. And the aham is the whole process in that spirituality, to shed the ego, to go to the source. And it is a process. And Amma talks about the process also in all these things. We will see that soon. Her 162nd name, Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, namah, swaha. Śreem, Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, nir-mōhāyai, namah, swaha, swaha. Śreem, Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, nir-mōhāyai, namah, swaha, namah, swaha. Om Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who's free from infatuation, all the distractions of the mind. Moha is actually, again, like kama, it's a desire, an attraction to something. Like kama, moha is another word for this desire and attachments, that attraction. And we have come across this word moha many times in the sense that there is a name, Mohana, Mohini, if you know anyone by that name. It is from Moha. And there is the name Mohan also. And this Moha, this attraction, this desire is that it is again part of all the thing that happens in creation, all the activities. It is part of it, but she is beyond that. She is beyond all that which is part of her creation. All the drama that goes on is all there. It is part of the part of creation, all the emotions, thoughts, the attractions, not just for humanity, all the beings, these attractions, and people can also call it delusion. This attraction takes you away. Why? Because it takes you away from that divine. It takes you to something external, something impermanent that the mind goes out to for the attachment. And because she is not, she is eternal, she is thoughtless, she is beyond all this, these don't affect her. These are in her realm, but she is not of them. And you would have even heard of this churning of the ocean to get the amrit. The asuras and the devas are churning. And again, it is allegorical, the churning to get the wisdom, that eternal amrit. And who distributes it? It said that Dhanvantari, for healing, if he brings it in a golden pot, the amrit. And the devas and the asuras ask, Mohini manifests herself there. And Mohini, so attractive, because that's what Mohana is. Mohana is something that just draws you, pulls you to that attraction, that desire. And that infatuation, attraction draws you, and it clouds your mind from the truth of who you really are. You become attached to that. And Mohini, we know, and there is in Kerala a dance called Mohini Attam. And all this is from that attraction, this drawing, this desires, which confuses and distracts the mind ultimately. And there is in music also, there is a raga, like in classical music, there are different ragas. And there is a raga called Mohanam, and it is so pleasing and it is so beautiful, that ragam. It is very popular. Many of the popular songs are from Mohanam because it is very attractive, it's very pleasing and calming. Yet all this is in the creation, we go through it, we experience it, and she is nir-mōhāyai. She stands beyond all these. She creates it for us, like the mother creates all the games for us, and she awaits us. And a sequel to that, her 163rd name, Om Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Om Śreem, Om Śreem, mōha nāśinyai, mōha nāśinyai, namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem, Om Śreem, mōha nāśinyai, mōha nāśinyai, namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem, mōha nāśinyai, namah swaha. Om Śreem, mōha nāśinyai, namah swaha. Salutations, Om Śreem, to Sri Lalitha, who dispels, who destroys, who clears all the desires, the delusions in all her deeds, who in her creation, all those who are seeking her, who want to seekers of the truth, who want to go back to the source, and who are caught up in this, we call this samsara, this ocean of birth, rebirth, and this cycle of coming and going through all these experiences. At some point when you tire and you're ready to go back to that state of niścintāyai, to merge with her, that thing, you need to let go of all these desires. And when you're so caught up with all these desires, you're like, it may be good, but still you could be struggling with too much good also. Could be bad, whatever, but these are like distractions of the mind. And to let go of the mind to connect with the source, it becomes a hindrance. And it is through her grace, she can destroy mōha nāśinyai, nāśinyai, she destroys, she clears the mōha, all the attractions that are in the way for that connection, for that stillness, to be with yourself, with that truth of that oneness. Her 164th name, Om Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, namah swaha. Om Śreem, Om Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, nir-mōhāyai, namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem, Om Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, nir-mōhāyai, namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, namah swaha. Om Śreem, nir-mōhāyai, namah swaha. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who is devoid of any self-interest, who is devoid of me. Mama is me. Nir-mōhāyai, not me. So it is without this label of me. This is me doing it. I is ahaṅkārā, mama is me. You know, when we do, many of us, when we do sit for pujas, we do the sankalpa and the priest comes and takes a sankalpa of what we want. He says, Mamopartha. It starts with Mamopartha, meaning these are all what I want. These are my requests in our prayers. It starts with that. And who else do you ask? It is the divine you ask, because only she can give. The one who creates can give, because it is all hers. And she herself is beyond this me-centered, and there is no ahaṅkāram, no ego, there is no me identification. There is everything the mind can think of. She's not this, she's not that, she's not this. So it is like going on with the negation of what all the mind can relate to. Is it this? No, it's not that. That? No, she's not that. She's beyond this, she's beyond that. And yet for the game of the mind, all these are very, very factual. It is so real. But to go beyond the mind, the state of the mind, to that soul quality, to the source, then these realities that are so real, factual for the mind, you rise beyond that when you connect with the soul. And Amma always says, connect with the soul. Her speeches, discourses, all her volumes are connect with the divine. And the divine is within each one of us. That source is right within each one of us. And how to connect with the divine? The mind is the tool. We use the tool, but we become the tool these days. It is the tool that is controlling us. And when we connect with the divine, we know when to use the tool and when to rest it. So when we want to rest the tool, the mind can rest. And when we need it, we use it. It's in the soul's control, in the divine's control. But the world now runs with the mind is the ruler. And that was more the pandemic right now. And it is like everything that originates or talks or feelings, everything is from the mind dictates. And all this is, she is giving us term of what reality is to go beyond the mind. And Amma talks about it like on the spiritual path, it is all just a process. Maybe in the human world, they may say, use the term, I lost it, this went away, lose it. But in the spiritual realm, it is all a process. So we saw earlier how in the gold goes through so many melting purifications, melting for it to become pure. And these are all like purifications of the mind, where that purity, nitya-shuddhāyai, to reach that state, all these are these processes and experiences we go through. And she doesn't go through any of these because she's beyond that. She's beyond this mama, me identity. Her 165th name, Om Śreem Mamata-haṅkārāyai namah swaha haṅkārāyai. So triyai, haṅkārāyai is the one who again destroys. Nāśinyai is destroyed. Haṅkārāyai is destroyed. Clears mamata, this entity. Om Śreem, Om Śreem Mamata-haṅkārāyai, Mamata-haṅkārāyai namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem, Om Śreem Mamata-haṅkārāyai, Mamata-haṅkārāyai namah swaha, namah swaha. Om Śreem Mamata-haṅkārāyai namah swaha. Om Śreem Mamata-haṅkārāyai namah swaha. So maybe you need a bit of practice on ahaṅkārāyai. Just say it a few times, it will come. Ahaṅkārāyai. Om Śreem. Salutations to Sri Lalitha, who destroys the sense of self-centeredness, the sense of ownership, that selfishness, all these aspects of this. In her devotees, said for devotees, it's not like she ahaṅkārāyai for the bhaktas. It is understood that all these, when she destroys, who is she destroying it for herself? She is anyway beyond all this. So she destroys it for those who have it. All the beings who have it, she destroys. And why does she destroy? Because that is the way to come back to the source. When you're seeking the truth, whatever is the lesser truth or whatever is false will fall off as you go closer to the truth, as you hold on to the truth. And for it to fall off, for it to clear, you need the divine's grace. It just doesn't happen. Your effort is needed, and more than the effort, also the divine's grace is needed. Amma always talks about it like there are many people, you have to put in the effort for whatever you're seeking. You need that. But is everyone who's putting the effort getting the results for what they are putting the efforts in? Some get it sooner, some get it later, some don't get it for a long time, maybe not in this lifetime. And what determines that? It is the divine's grace again. And the karma, whatever is there. And clear that for you. And to reach to that core, that center. And why does we need this sense of ownership for the survival in the world? If you're in that blissed out state of I'm not this, I'm not that, you cannot function in this world. So you need those aspects of the ahaṅkāram, you need the aspects of the self-identification, but those are like in the periphery, they're not the core. For the one who has gone to that state of the truth, that oneness with the divine, these are needed for the manifestation to continue, for this physical body to sustain. But the core is that source. You must remember in the beginning, how we got the Sri Lalitha Sahasranamam. And Sri Agastya is asking his guru, Hayagriva, who is another aspect of Vishnu. He said, you taught me so many things. You taught me how to perform the yagam. You taught me so many of these wonderful mantras and scriptures. But how come you didn't teach me Sri Lalitha Sahasranamam? Someone so enlightened, so knowledgeable is going and asking his guru, why did you not teach me this? And the reply his guru says is, you have to ask to learn Sri Lalitha Sahasranamam. Only a seeker will come asking for it. Because if you go and tell someone who's not seeking the truth, who's not seeking the divine, you have to let go of your ego, you have to let go of your self-identity. To them, it makes no sense because you need all that for the survival and for the sustenance of the world. They're not even seeking this yet. They are still in this realm. And if you try to give all this wisdom and they are there and say you let go of it, they will not be able to connect with you at all. So when a seeker comes seeking, I've done all this, and yet I'm not progressing. Why am I not progressing? Why am I not getting closer to the truth? I'm a seeker. When that seeking comes, then you open the door to receive these wisdoms. Otherwise, these wisdoms are not given for one who's not ready for it, because it makes no sense to them. They could only make a mockery of it, because it makes absolute absolutely no sense to their life, kind of existence to let go. And it's only to the devotee, the seeker, in the practice, in the process, these are so valuable and precious. And Amma says, like, she talks about when all this is a process, in the process of what? Connecting to the source. And the humans say, oh, I lose this, I have to get rid of this, I have to get rid of that, I have to get rid of this, so many things to purify myself. In the spiritual realm, it's not the word like I have to get rid of it. It's not the word used. It is a process. You're being processed. So in this, all these things happen. So it's not like it's like a task. I must do it and I must clear it out. I must like bleach it out, whatever, all these things. It is, don't have to work hard to get rid of it. It is a process you go through. And in that process, what is important is also surrender, like you do your part and then you surrender to the universe, the divine. And Amma describes how when you have some problem or something, you want to have your say in it or something. In the human world, the court, you go to the court, and then if you don't get the right decision for it, then you have a choice of going to the high court, and then you express your version of it. And then if it doesn't pass, you don't get a good verdict in the high court, then you have the choice of going to the Supreme Court. And then in the Supreme Court, still if you lose, then what happens? You accept it. You say, nothing more can be done. It didn't work, then you accept it, and for that acceptance, you surrender to the situation. Right or wrong, this is what has happened, there is nothing else I can do. Nama says in the divine world also, this surrender is needed. This is it, you have done this much so far, and let go to that surrender to accept what comes. And when that happens, that surrender is like you're going into, the mind is not churning anymore. You're not in the head. If you're still in the head, angry about the results and all that, you're still in the head. But when that surrender comes, you are opening up here to receive what is needed. Otherwise, we continue churning here. And Amma says, it is not necessary that you need or should get everything you want. Sometimes things may be delayed in coming. Sometimes you may get something different than what you even asked for. And in this process, all these processes of nir-mōhāyai, nir-mōhāyai, all the desires not coming, nir-ahaṅkārāyai, niścintāyai, mada, nāśinyai, all these things that are in the processes of clearing and polishing and refining. I'm reminded of someone asked Buddha, so when you got enlightened, what did you gain from that, Buddha? And Buddha says, I didn't gain anything, but I lost everything. And that is that state of that process. He's gone through that polishing process till he lost everything, meaning all the things, all these veils and the ahaṅkāram, the me, mama, all these different things, mada, his desires, the mōhas, the attractions, everything drop off. And then again, nothing. What is there to gain? You are in that totality of that oneness, in that stillness. We don't identify with anything. Everything is there, but you've already merged with the divine. Then you don't do anything, but you shed everything. You lose everything in that state. And it is this process that the devotees are seeking to go to Sri Lalitha. This is at the wisdom level. Does she just do that? No, she also fulfills our desires. You want a home, you want children, you want health, you want a better job. That is also the materialistic wishes, desires she fulfills. The spiritual desires of, in that process, in that growth, she fulfills that. So these mantras, these chants are for the materialistic devotee seeking materialistic as well as the spiritual, whatever the blessings. She can fulfill all that because all that is her. And Amma talks about devotion is the root cause for all the good characteristics. And she mentions earlier that greed is the root cause for sin. So when there is greed, the mind goes. We don't connect with the soul, the need, but the greed pulls us out strongly into the maya. If you think the world is for me, then it doesn't matter how much you take from this world. You will never be happy. However much you take from the world, one day you dump everything you have accumulated. See, this mind is never ending. It is like a constantly churning thing. And it will, if you fulfill one desire, it will bring another desire. It can bring you 5 desires, 100 desires. There is no limit to it because that is the nature of the mind. To understand the mind and see what it can do and what it can't do and rise beyond that is the process of that wisdom, that in the process of going towards peace. If you start to see the world in the second way, I am for the world, at that moment you will start to feel very rich. When you can give everything to the world, then you become very rich inside. So the state of this rich and poor is again from this heart region. You feel full here, you give this enough, I can give is from here. The mind will never say enough. That's why Amma says Annadanam is such a precious gift to give. It is a dhanam. Dhanam is offering, a gift. And Anna is food. When you're doing Anna Dhanam, it is one of the easiest ways for someone to say, I have enough. When the stomach feels full and you say enough, that is mean a satisfaction, a completion. And that is a blessing when someone says, I have enough after receiving from you. This mind otherwise will never say enough. If I have 10, oh good. If I have $0, I can have a bit. I have few thousands, a bit more. A few 100,000s, bit more. Few millions more. Billions more. Trillions more. What else? The mind keep extending because there is the possibility. If there is a possibility, then why not? We can keep stretching more, and there is no end to the mind. But when that enough comes from here, it is so beneficial for the giver and the receiver. It is a complete, there is completion there. Amma talks about giving maybe the utmost necessities in life. Often it is presumed that giving is only for the rich, but compassion and giving from the heart are things that anyone can do. And this brings us to that fulfillment, and that fulfillment paves the way to the other blessings of quieting the mind, for that silence and all the other goodness. We talk of all the goodness produced in our body, the happiness, for the joy, and all the chemicals, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, all these things, endorphins. All these are what? These are produced in different states of the mind when you can shed and quieten that mind and come into the stillness, they are automatically produced in our body. They keep the body healthy. So being healthy becomes a side benefit. It happens without you having to put effort into keeping the body fit. When you're already in that state of mind and doing all this, things flow and health becomes an aspect of the existence naturally. And it is these turbulent emotions, turbulent thoughts that bring in all this churning and the other set of chemicals that can derange health. Is in the giving that you receive your benefit. You think you're giving, but in the process, we are receiving the benefit of the peace, the joy, and the good chemicals flowing in us, bringing us health. And this giving is an opportunity given to us in this human birth, which is very precious, because here is where we have the greatest opportunity to give to others. And in that giving, it paves the way for all these processes to happen to get us more polished and refined and purified here. Let us count all the names, 159 to 165. Śreem mada nāśinyai namah swaha. Śreem niścintāyai namah swaha. Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Śreem nāśinyai namah swaha. Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Śreem ahaṅkārāyai namah swaha. Once more. Śreem mada nāśinyai namah swaha. Śreem niścintāyai namah swaha. Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Śreem nāśinyai namah. Śreem nir-mōhāyai namah swaha. Śreem ahaṅkārāyai namah swaha. Namo Narayani. May all our chantings be offered to Sri Lalitha, for her to bless us and the whole world and all the worlds and all the beings. Om Namo Narayani. Any questions? No questions. We're all in niścintāyai state. Wonderful. Very good. Om Namo Narayani till we meet again next week. You can stop the recording, Bhagya.